Hey everyone, how's it going? Today I'm here with a bit of a different video. Not just, gameplay, but I want to talk a little bit about Hive. Like, maybe just a few things going through my head at this point in time. This is not really going to be like a professionally edited video or anything. It's just me talking, whatever, I had planned to talk about, I guess. Uh, so don't expect like a lot of dead air time with me thinking about like the right words or what I may have forgotten to mention or whatever. But if you don't have anything better to do, you can sit back, relax, and listen to me talking a little bit about Hive and some things on my mind right now. So one thing recently that I was talking about with another Hiver was that he feels that authors are a little bit too entitled in terms of what they're owed. Like, there's this general feeling of people that just because they're here and because Hive is not so big, that they are owed rewards just for being here, which is, I think we've all probably come across such people, and sometimes it gets even worse when you factor in their KE ratio, meaning how much Hive they or high power they still have compared to how much they've earned. There's a lot of people who have it up like very high, but they still, they're here every day expecting rewards and things like that. Sorry, my voice is a bit weird right now. Anyway, some things that I like to point out that myself, I don't really care too much about the KE. Like, I understand people are from all over the world, and especially here in Hive, we have a lot of people from developing countries, such as, I think the highest traffic comes from Venezuela, Philippines, Ghana, Nigeria, Brazil, maybe even. So I understand that people need, they need rewards. It helps them in their day to day. But then on the other side of things, there's also a lot of people who maybe don't believe in Hive. They think that, oh yeah, Hive is just here for a little while, so I better just take everything out as much as I can. And it's hard to tell what goes on in people's lives. We're all unique individuals. So when I curate authors, because it's not always content that you're curating or directing inflation to. It's also a little bit, there's a layer of trust in the author that he's legit, that he's unique, that what their intentions are. Like, are they planning on being here for a long time? Are they planning on, using their rewards well in terms of curation themselves? At least that's what goes on through my mind when I vote. So when I curate, I don't really look at KE too much, but then there's other factors such as that I wish other stakeholders, curation projects, things like that would take more into consideration, which is their activity. Like, there's a lot of authors who they make their post, they've one way or another have managed to land themselves like big votes, and maybe they leave like a few comments, saying like thanks for commenting, or like very short replies. Like, you can tell basically that these authors, they're not spending a lot of their time on Hive itself. They got other things to do, and that to me feels a little bit like, why are we continuously rewarding these authors with so much stake, when not only are they selling everything or getting rid of it from their account at least, but they're also barely, engaging, barely giving any, like, they're not contributing that much compared to other people. Because to me, it feels like we also invest in people when we give out inflation. That's like one of the beauties of Hive. So if let's say if there were like 2 people only posting on Hive, one of them was constantly active, engaging, looking for new authors, showing signs that they've consumed the content, left a comment that kind of, proves that they've consumed it. They've spent time basically to read someone's post, to engage with them, not because they're fishing for a vote or they're trying to get a follow back, just because they like being on Hive. Basically, they enjoy interacting, connecting, building an audience, building maybe even friendships. Like, to them, Hive is fun. Their focus is not the rewards. And then compare that user to someone who they do their 1 or 2 posts per day, and they leave like a few comments maybe, and then that's basically it. They're gone. They're like, there's times when I see authors with like 7 posts in a week, but then their last comment was from maybe 2 weeks ago, and none of their posts even receive any engagement. This, what I'm showing right now is not provocative of anything. It's just my feed. But like, I feel like there's a lot of bad curation going on right now. Maybe some stakeholders who don't really care. Maybe they're trusting the wrong curators. And like, a lot of these things, I run a curation project myself, so we have a lot of restrictions and things like that in place, where we try to make sure that the people we're rewarding are providing some contributions to the ecosystem in terms of at least social activity, because our focus is mostly on newcomers. But there's the thing with bad curation is that it eventually it will lead to a sort of place where we have to downvote, and that's usually like, the thing is that a lot of these would be better off if they didn't get upvoted that much to begin with, to save us from having to downvote these sort of accounts and posts. Because downvoting, believe it or not, because maybe I like to, or like is the wrong word, but I have experience doing it every now and then, and people think that it's something I like doing. It's something that somehow gives me some kind of power trip or something, when most of the time I leave a comment or an explanation that often turns into endless debates. And it's just like, there's so much bad that happens with downvotes in the way that it's programmed right now. There's no benefit from doing it. As like, nobody cares that if I downvote $20 off of 5 posts today, those $20 will be redistributed back to every other account, because that's not something anyone is ever going to notice. So that's kind of like, like we're in this zone at the moment where we have a lot of authors still, considering the prices and the general sentiment with altcoins. But there's also a lot who are receiving some kind of auto votes or blind votes. If you know what, like, they're just throwing votes for one reason or another at certain authors. They don't care to check if those authors are really that active. And it's not just like about activity, because people can fake that. We've seen a lot of throwing random commands around of some random tokens to pretend that you're active, when it's just like copy pasting comments here and there. It's about proof that you're actually spending a lot of time on the ecosystem. Maybe trying to actually grow a following, trying to look for people who post about the same stuff as you do, connect with them, because if you comment on their posts about stuff you're actually interested in and you're enjoying Hive, then you're most likely going to get them to comment on your post as well. There's also a lot of this like farm mentality where they have to post every day because of the way that the auto votes work, and people feel like if they don't post every day they're going to miss out on rewards, which kind of is true, but still, you know, it results in this kind of degrading quality and, you know, degrading engagement, and it's just like, I'm not really sure what the solution is. Like, I wish a lot of stakeholders were more approachable that are doing these blind curation, or that authors would understand not to support projects where they delegate part of their stake to them in exchange for votes, because at the end of the day that's just like self-voting, and it results in, you know, like the platform is going to start looking a lot more dead than it really is, even though like I'm still saying things are pretty good in general. But when you see, let's just go to trending for instance, just as an example, like there's not that many comments on certain posts, and like I'm, you know, I'm part of that as well. I'm not saying that I'm excluded or anything. It's just some of the blind votes lead to making the platform look like it's not as, you know, active as it really is. We still have over like 2,000 active users, I believe, authors that is. But yeah, before I sidetrack too long into this, I also wanted to talk a little bit about sharing, which is, believe it or not, it was one of the, I think it was the mentioned in the original white paper that the author rewards are meant to bring people into the platform. But if there's no, you know, like going back to the previous issue, if people are just barely, you know, bothering to provide any contributions other than posting to get their votes, they're also not going to try and bring people to the ecosystem by sharing their content outside of Hive. And that's kind of also what I've been focusing most of my voting power on lately, to grow this sort of activity, incentivize it more and more with rewards, where if people are sharing the content on Reddit, which is the one of the main platforms that we got going on right now due to their API access. Although we do also have plans to get some other ones, like there's been some progress on the Blue Sky version of it. But like, we should be more rewarding of authors who not only post but also try and bring some traffic on either their own posts or other people's posts, and we should reward more sharing. I know, like, the way the Reddit push works right now, it's nice and easy due to the API access. You share something, the bot instantly picks it up. We have it set up so that we can curate the comments, even though they're getting quite a lot. But there's also manual ways to get rewarded. We have a Go Share Snap section, which is a bit like hidden for people who don't know. You have to go to Communities, then you have to go to High Push, and then you have to go to the Snap section there. Here we have, this is people who, we have two commands basically, two tags. The Go Share one stands for hey, this tweet, this is an important tweet by an important member of our community and developer and tool. So this guy is promoting this tweet. So now I can go and give it a like and retweet, maybe even a comment, and then reply here with a screenshot that, hey, I liked and retweeted this. And then we have curators who are going and rewarding both the original tweet, trying to promote the posts or the tweets, but it could be anything. It could be an Instagram post, it could be a Facebook post, even LinkedIn possibly. And then we would both give this a little reward and then give a little reward to the people based on if they only liked, or if they liked and retweeted, or if they left a comment. We're all trying to curate all of it and reward it properly. The other part is, instead of gosh, it's posh, which is the old version of, hey, I shared this. I may not be like an important developer or tool or whatever account on Hive, but I shared this Hive related thing on Instagram or Twitter, and here's a screenshot of how well it did. It received comments, it received this and that. Curate me based on my promotion. So we have both gosh and posh, but it's, as you can see, it's not really being used that much. This guy, maybe, it should have been posh probably instead of gosh. It's a bit not that much utilized right now. I need to make some more posts about it as well, but it can be a really powerful tool if we all would just use it properly. And the rewards all go to the people contributing. This is using it doesn't go through any middleman service, liquidation service or anything with Reddit Posh. It's all there. And some people are doing some good work curating all that. So my point is, we should be rewarding people who are here, who are showing signs that they want to be here, they like being here, they enjoy their time here, enjoy spending it here, and try and move away a little bit from the people who have shown signs over the years that that's not really what they're about. And I'm not saying don't give newcomers a chance. Everyone is new at one point. I'm also talking about the people who have been constantly, it's not just about selling either, but if they're showing signs that they're only here to get their vote, and because posts in and of themselves aren't really that valuable in my opinion. Also, I wanted to make one last, I'm not sure how long is this video by now already. Yeah, so this is kind of what these videos are going to be about, me just, ranting about random stuff, going on some benders here and there. But I have a little notebook here next to me about points of what I was going to talk about. So the last one, before I forget, is I wanted to take a little look at, I don't know how many of you know about the story of Reddit when they attempted to introduce tokens to their own platform. It was quite a big thing at one point. They tested this out with 2 subreddits, r/cryptocurrency, naturally, and then also r/Fortnite, the game. So the cryptocurrency token was called Moons. The Fortnite one was called Bricks, I believe, or something like that. I'm not really sure what happened to that one. The one I paid attention to was the moons, because I got a little bit of airdrop because of my activity on that subreddit. You know, like I wasn't really that active, but now and then during my time on this chain, I used to comment there. So I got a little bit airdrop there, and Reddit also had a big pre-mine of themselves, like 30%, I believe, and things were looking pretty good. Like they were gonna take off. They were gonna use the Arbitrum chain. Kraken, one of the big exchanges, listed them among some others, and then out of the blue, they decided to drop it. They burned their 30% pre-mine and basically deserted the whole community, all the holders. There was a bit of drama there where some mods had found out about the news beforehand, so they had sold their stake. But the reason I'm bringing this up is the way Moons works. It's a bit different to Hive, or quite a lot really, because it's not stake based. On Reddit, there's, you know, one vote, one account. So the way they distribute the token is that every month they count all the votes, and they reward the people based on how many votes they received on posts and comments. I don't know how, if posts are weighted a bit differently or not. I just know that it happens monthly, and it's like a decreasing kind of a thing, like Bitcoin, where it goes down. I mean, Hive also is, you know, inflation is dropping slightly every 250,000 blocks or so. So, but the thing with Reddit is that it's very easy to create accounts. It's very easy to manipulate voting if, you know, you're doing it on like a small scale, where you go and upvote your own comments with alt accounts. Like, I'm assuming they have good ways to deal with all that, but there's not really original content or anything there. It's all just about sharing and commenting. But just to give you like a little perspective on, like, sure, Reddit kind of deserted them, but even when it was looking good, the price of Moons was never really, you know, that great. Even here, when it was at 50 cents, which is 10 times more than now, I think their market cap was never within rank 1000. Right now their market cap is, you know, lower than some of the accounts on Hive. Their max supply is, so they're already reaching the max supply somehow. So it seems like a very badly distributed token to begin with. Looking at this, I'm guessing the airdrop was very big. Reddit probably burned a lot of tokens. Anyway, like, there's, you know, rank 2300 is not really great. And sure, Hive isn't looking too great either, but compared to, you know, it could always be worse. And if we take a look here at the cryptocurrency subreddit, you can see how what it looks like. People who've earned Moons, that's on the left side is how much they've earned, on the right side is how much their wallet holds now. The reason this is important is because if you find someone who, okay, somehow there's only holders here right now and newcomers, but if you find accounts where they're holding less than what they've earned, weirdly enough, here's one. So this guy has sold or removed 3,000 from his balance of what he's earned. I have 6k, I believe. I haven't really touched mine because I don't really know what to do with it. Or anyway, this guy has So the way they have it set up, the monthly distribution based on how many votes you received, is that you get a penalty based on if you've sold tokens based on how much you've earned. So it's kind of the KE factor, but there it's like, built into the code where, like, imagine when your post is about to pay out and it says that you should be receiving $2 for your post, but the blockchain would like look at your account and be like, all right, you're only holding 50% of what you've earned, so you're only going to get 50% of the $2. So like even with that factor in, the price is still not doing well. They even have burns where, and this is like a 10 million, okay, they've removed the subscription count now on Reddit, but I mean you can tell that this is like a very big subreddit. It used to be at like 9-10 million subscribers, so it's kind of crazy how bad the price is doing. But yeah, like people, even though I'm not advocating for KE or that we should penalize people for selling, I think it's important to take a better look at who we are rewarding and why, and are these accounts, is the Hive they're earning worth something to them, basically. Like to me, for instance, I'm always looking at how I can get more Hive. Unfortunately, it's not really that easy to do it from outside, like, being able to earn some other random token, or work for someone or something to earn other tokens to buy more Hive. But like I really value Hive. I think it's super undervalued right now, but some people, they may think that, as long as Hive isn't worth 0, I'm going to sell it. And I think we should take a better look at who we reward, and if these people actually value that they're getting these rewards, because it could always be a lot worse, and naturally it could also be a lot better. But like looking at some other Hive copies, you can tell that they're doing a lot worse, even if they have a non-working proof of brain at all, even if it's just the same few whales farming, trending every day, just using all of their voting power on themselves through some projects, or some copies where they have no downvote, so they let everyone just farm wildly. It could always get worse, but I think it's important that we, after some time, after people have been here a while, that we like a little bit, take into consideration, should we keep rewarding these authors with as much stake as we do? And I'm not talking, much does not mean dollar value, it means Hive value. And if not, there's other ways to spend your voting power. You can vote on HBD funder comments that just help stabilize the HBD. You can vote burn posts. You can vote, Posh token, maybe, if you think it's doing something that's helping the platform. But I'll talk more about that another time. Just, getting back into these commentary videos where I talk about Hive. Hopefully it wasn't too controversial this time, like my previous ones, where I was talking about some vote trading I saw happening, and although I'm sure there's going to be some videos about that in the future as well. I'm just, I just think we've really muddied down the word curation, and we should we should try and give it some value again, because our blockchain is very unique, and it's very flexible, and it can work really well if we put effort into both curating and building and contributing to it, and making it a nice place. Anyway, that's it for today. Let me know what you think. Maybe it's a bit too rambly. Feel free to watch it at a faster speed. There should be subtitles you can translate into your preferred language, and let me know what you think. Yeah, hopefully I'll make a new one before it becomes another 6 months or so like last one. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.